Amidst seemingly tranquil rivers, Crocodile silently takes control through patience and precise calculation. In a fleeting moment, the still surface of the water can transform into a decisive approach. What is recorded is not just the action, but how instinct and the environment together determine the outcome of survival. On the Serengeti grasslands, tens of thousands of wildebeest move in herds during migration, maintaining constant observation among themselves. A single unusual movement can cause the entire herd to change direction almost instantly to maintain formation. With their enduring stamina and ability to maintain a steady pace, wildebeest approach the water's edge to continue their river crossing. When the flow becomes crowded and chaotic, an individual loses their rhythm and strays from the formation for a few short seconds. Under the murky water, the crocodile lies motionless for a long time to conserve energy and wait for sufficient distance, then accelerates in a very short burst to lunge forward and lock onto its target before the prey can regain its balance. In the deep water, the individual is pulled away from the migratory flow and quickly loses control. Ahead, the wildebeest herd continues crossing the river, maintaining the rhythm of their migration. Just a few seconds of losing your balance in this environment is enough to completely shift the scales of survival. Along the riverbanks, lions always maintain a very clear hunting instinct. Upon spotting a weak target or one separated from the group, lions can switch to a burst of speed in just a few seconds. With a bite strong enough to hold large prey, lions are often confident approaching the water's edge to observe more closely. But this confidence also leads them closer to danger. An immature lion approaches the riverbank when the water looks calm and shows no obvious signs of danger. Just beneath the murky water, a crocodile is already lying motionless, waiting for enough distance. The moment the lion loses its balance, the crocodile springs up with a short burst of speed and pulls the lion away from safety. The lions immediately roar in warning and retreat to maintain distance from the water's edge. The crocodile doesn't need a prolonged confrontation. It simply needs to disrupt the initial balance. At the boundary between land and water, the advantage clearly favored crocodile, and the changing environment determined the entire outcome. The encounter was brief, but left a distinct silence on the riverbank. Strength on land no longer held the decisive role when the terrain changed. In nature, control does not belong to the strongest, but to the one who masters their environment. In shallow waters, hippo maintains its territorial and juvenile protection instincts with almost instantaneous reactions. When sensing approaching danger, hippo doesn't retreat but charges directly toward its target to repel the threat. With its wide jaws and powerful bite, hippo is capable of inflicting serious injury on many large species. When a young hippo slightly separates from its protective circle, crocodile quickly recognizes the opening and approaches silently underwater. Crocodile suddenly lunges forward in a very short burst to lock onto its target. But the reaction from the adult hippo is almost instantaneous. Multiple hippos simultaneously surge forward, forcing Crocodile into shallow water and diminishing its ambush advantage. Crocodile is forced to loosen its grip as the safe distance is no longer maintained. The encounter ends without the outcome Crocodile had initially anticipated. In an aquatic environment, success largely depends on whether the target remains within the protective system or has separated from the formation. Late in the afternoon, the wild dog pack advanced toward the water's edge, maintaining their familiar tight formation. Their instinct to react to collective signals kept each individual watching the others. But at the water's edge, even a momentary lapse in coordination could create a dangerous gap. When a young individual slowed at the edge of the formation and crouched too close to the water's surface, Crocodile silently registered their position from the slightest vibrations. Crocodile remained motionless until the distance narrowed sufficiently. In an instant, Crocodile sprang from underwater and locked onto its target before the wild dog could regain its footing. The tense moment didn't last as long as usual. Instead of disintegrating, the entire wild dog pack turned back almost simultaneously, closing in on the ambush area and applying continuous pressure around Crocodile. That coordinated effort forced Crocodile to adjust his position, creating a gap for the trapped individual to escape to shore. In deep water, surprise is important, but collective strength is sometimes even more decisive. Near the edge of the muddy water, Leopard approached in its familiar low stance, moving stealthily and precisely. As the terrain shifted from solid ground to quicksand, its agility advantage began to diminish noticeably. This change presented an unpredictable risk. The moment Leopard's foot sank deep and its movement faltered, Crocodile accelerated from beneath the murky water. Crocodile lunged diagonally, striking Leopard's lower body to break its stance. Leopard spun to regain its balance, but the quicksand shifted the advantage toward Crocodile. Recognizing the unfavorable environment, Leopard proactively retreated from the mud to conserve energy. Crocodile ceased the pursuit once it left the water's edge. The confrontation ended with the advantage belonging to the one who mastered the environment. In the late afternoon light on the savanna, Impala approached the water's edge with the familiar vigilance of a species always facing danger. Impala possesses a very quick survival reflex. Even the slightest unusual movement is enough to cause the entire pack to raise their heads in observation. With keen eyesight and hearing, Impala usually detect danger from a distance, but the water's edge always narrows that distance. When an impala bowed its head to drink longer than the others, the crocodile silently determined its location by the vibrations spreading across the water's surface. The crocodile remained motionless until it was close enough to gain an advantage of surprise, then sprang into action with a lightning-fast dive to lock onto its target before the impala could retreat. The event unfolded in just seconds, faster than the collective reflexes of the entire pack. Impala lost the opportunity to accelerate because he was standing too close to the water's edge and had no room to change direction, making the outcome almost instantaneous. On the open savanna, Impala controlled the distance very effectively, but at the deep water boundary, the advantage could shift in an instant. Under the seemingly calm surface of the water, crocodiles remain motionless for extended periods, waiting for the right moment to act. Their thick skin and hard bone armor help them withstand impacts, while their powerful tails provide strong propulsion when needed. However, as the dry season shrinks their territory and another crocodile enters the area, this patience quickly turns into a tense confrontation. The distance narrows little by little until the water suddenly becomes turbulent. Both crocodiles whip their tails to accelerate, lunging sideways and attempting to lock onto their opponent's jaws to gain an advantage. Heavy collisions occur briefly but fiercely as both try to control the depth of the water. After several exchanges, one crocodile gradually loses its central position and sinks lower below the surface. The weaker crocodile proactively retreats to darker waters to avoid further energy expenditure. The result was not absolute dominance, but a well-timed retreat strategy to ensure long-term survival. At the boundary between the grassland and the shallow water, the buffalo approaches with the heightened vigilance of a closely knit herd. Upon detecting any unusual movement or scent of danger from afar, the entire herd can quickly adjust their defensive formation. With their large, curved horns and hard, armor-like bases, buffaloes are always ready to take their positions when necessary. As a buffalo steps down to the water's edge, a crocodile lies in ambush just below the murky surface. The crocodile suddenly lunges and pulls forcefully toward deeper water, causing the buffalo's stance to be thrown off the bank. But the buffalo quickly sinks its feet into the firm ground and uses its body weight to pull back. The struggle creates two distinct opposing forces for a few tense seconds before the crocodile is forced to loosen its grip and slide toward deeper water. Its large mass and balance allow the buffalo to regain its footing completely. In an aquatic environment, the tactic of dragging the prey down to a deeper depth can be very effective, but with sufficiently heavy prey and a firm grip on the ground beneath their feet, that advantage is not easily exploited. From the Serengeti to the shallow mudflats, crocodile relies not on speed, but on patience and the ability to read his environment. Each encounter ends differently, but the common thread is always the precise timing. Amidst seemingly calm waters, the balance of survival can shift in a single, brief movement. The journey of exploring the natural world continues, and further stories await in upcoming installments of the channel. Not every hunt begins with action. Often it starts from a distance, when danger is near but not yet recognized. In nature, lions are usually the controllable predators, their strength, experience, and coordination giving them the upper hand in most confrontations. From calm waters and open grasslands to confined spaces, each encounter adapts to the circumstances. On the vast grasslands, lions move almost silently. Their massive 420-pound bodies don't slow them down, but rather provide the foundation for short, precise bursts of speed. Every movement is kept to a minimum, enough to approach undetected. The lion's power lies not in maintaining speed, but in its ability to concentrate all its energy into a single moment. It can reach nearly 35 miles per hour, but only for a few short seconds. This forces every action to be calculated in advance, from distance and approach direction to the timing of the decision. In nature, there is no room for waste. Lions don't hunt with haste, but with patience and control. When the right moment arrives, all their power is unleashed in silence, quick, concise, and decisive. African wild dogs survive through an extremely tight pack discipline system. They move in unison, maintain flexible distances, and do not expose fixed weaknesses. Each individual does not act alone, but blends into the rhythm of the pack, a structure always ready to change to avoid being locked onto. That stability is broken the moment a lion spots them and approaches, lowering its body in the grass. But instead of maintaining formation, the pack of wild dogs actively disperses in a controlled manner, disrupting their own concentration to reduce risk. A barrage of barks erupts, interspersed with feigned attacks, creating constant pressure and blurring the target's path. The lion advances, but cannot lock onto any individual. If there is a cub, the lioness is forced to turn to protect it, and that very moment causes her to lose the initiative. The tension slowed, the distance was maintained, and the confrontation did not escalate to a decisive blow. Ultimately, both sides retreated without loss. The wild dogs didn't truly win, but they forced the lions to retreat. This was a tactic that avoided direct confrontation, instead diverting the opponent's clear objective, because when the lion switched from attack to defense, its power diminished immediately. Hippopotamuses don't hunt, but they always make others wary. Most of the time, they lie still underwater, only their eyes and nose visible, appearing harmless. But that stillness hides explosive power. With a body weighing thousands of pounds, they lunge unexpectedly, giving their opponents no time to react. When attacking, their jaws close decisively, powerful enough to crush anything within reach. Instead of charging immediately, the lion stands at the edge of the bank, observing and moving around to create a pincer movement. The distance narrows slowly, without any sudden lunge. Every movement is aimed at waiting for the right moment. The hippopotamus remains calm, but gradually loses its space to move. When escape routes are controlled, the safe distance is no longer maintained. Pressure increases with each advance of the lion. Finally, the hippopotamus is forced to retreat and leave its original position. The events showed that the outcome didn't come from a single attack. The lion gained the advantage by controlling distance and maintaining pressure. The hippo lost its advantage when it no longer had space to defend itself. In nature, controlling position and timing determines the outcome. Cruel and intelligent, these two words perfectly describe the nature of hyenas. They hunt in packs, working in close coordination, with a bite force that can reach 1,100 pounds per square inch. This pressure is generated not only from strength, but also from numbers and a relentless approach. Their observational skills and adaptability help them maintain their advantage over time. When the distance is close enough, the hyena pack begins to encircle a lioness. They don't all charge at once, but move around the perimeter, taking turns closing in and then retreating. The sound is maintained continuously, keeping the pressure steady and reducing the lioness's concentration. The distance is narrowed step by step. The pressure gradually increases as the lioness is forced to hold her position. This state lasts until a male lion appears. Immediately, the hyena's approach ceases. They shift from applying pressure to retreating as the risk increases. Their numerical advantage is no longer sufficient to sustain the situation. The entire process demonstrates that organization and persistence can create initial dominance. However, the outcome still depends on timing and the level of risk. Hyenas maintain control by keeping the pressure in check, but retreat when conditions change. In nature, pack strength is only effective when sustained at the right time. Unlike other animals, the honey badger, despite its small size, almost never stops when faced with danger. Its reaction is always direct, not evasive when confronted with danger. Its small body belies its fearless instinct. It doesn't try to run, but maintains its position and reacts. When the lion spots its prey, it lowers its body, gradually closing the distance with the precision of a seasoned predator. But at that crucial moment, the honey badger is the one who takes the initiative to attack. The lion is forced to accelerate, trying to overpower its opponent, but cannot hold it back. The honey badger is not strong, but doesn't stop, forcing the lion to repeat its attempts and change its approach. Without a clear weakness, the effectiveness of the attack decreases and the pace of approach slows down. In nature, results depend not only on brute force, but also on the ability to learn and adapt through each trial. Under the seemingly calm surface of the water, an attack can be accomplished in a single squeeze. A crocodile's jaws can generate a force exceeding 3,000 pounds per square inch, enough to shatter bone structure in a single constriction. It waits underwater, keeping its body almost motionless, leaving only a small portion above the surface. The lion approaches the water's edge to assess the distance. When the distance is short enough, the crocodile leaps from underwater and attempts to lock onto its target with a quick bite. If the situation occurs underwater, the crocodile has the advantage due to its biting force and ability to maintain position. When the situation shifts to land, the lion reacts quickly, moving nimbly and seeking to attack behind its armor to reduce risk. The situation changes with each movement. The crocodile maintains control and holds the advantage. On land, the lion overwhelms due to its reaction speed and ability to change direction. There is no fixed outcome, as each environment creates different conditions. The confrontation doesn't last long when both realize their limitations. Although previous evidence shows there is no absolute power. Crocodiles are strong in water, lions are strong on land. The difference lies not in overall strength, but in the right environment. In nature, the winner is the one who controls the right space and time. In the wild, the leopard doesn't need to flaunt its strength with a top speed of 36 to 37 miles per hour. It survives by absolute silence. Its distinctive spotted coat is perfect camouflage, blending its body into the savanna jungle. The real difference lies in its three-dimensional ability to climb trees in seconds, pulling prey heavier than itself up high, away from any predators. But that calm didn't last. While the leopard was resting, the lions approached from behind without making a clear signal. The distance closed rapidly, and the attack was unexpected. The leopard reacted immediately upon realizing the danger, but there wasn't enough time to create a safe distance. The pride of lions quickly narrowed the space. A female moved to block the escape route, while the male held the center and controlled the surrounding area. With the escape routes restricted, the leopard was no longer able to climb to a safe position. The confrontation ended quickly. The leopard had no chance to leave the dangerous area. The events show that the outcome doesn't depend on maximum strength or speed. The leopard only holds an advantage when it has enough time to react and space to move. In nature, the deciding factor isn't the strike itself, but the timing of the initial detection. Through numerous encounters, one rule has become clear. Strength is not a standalone trait, but depends on the timing, location, and the reaction of each species. A lion may have the advantage in one situation, but loses it when conditions change. No species is absolutely dominant. The winner is the one that maintains the advantage longer by controlling the distance and timing correctly.